The people in the town.
Yeah, that'd be great. We actually wanted to talk with, I'll talk with
Or just like the figureheads.
Huh? She's the worker.
Yeah.
Or the surplus.
Say Karen does it all.
Oh, yes.
Not very well.
I don't know. Better than the rest of us. Have trouble with the TV?
Nope, everything's, we're all here on.
Okay. It'd be nice to see how many people actually watch this. You know, if you could get a count somehow. I don't know.
That's not broadcast.
I know it's being streamed live.
You'd offer a free drink if we called in and said they saw that. Yeah, you'd find out.
We probably get inundated. Or come on down to the town hall for free wood chips or something.
All right, gentlemen, are you
Yep.
ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Bill?
Yep, ready.
Madam Clerk?
Yes.
All right. Vernon-Town Board of Supervisors meeting for September 20th, 2018, 6 p.m. Call to order. All rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Chairman Thomas Byrd.
Present.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Present.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Present.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Present.
Supervisor Bill Craig.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, I'll note for the record that you do have a quorum of your town board present.
Okay. Open meetings law.
Mr. Chairman, the agenda was posted inside and outside the Vernon Town Hall to the media, to businesses within the town of Vernon, and on the town of Vernon's website. You are in full compliance with the open meetings law of the state of Wisconsin.
Thank you. Public comments. Any public comments? Any public comments? Let the record show there are no public comments. We'll go to miscellaneous matters. The following matters will be discussed and possible action taken by the board unless otherwise noted. Item A, Nora School presentation. Supervisor 2, Mr. Wildy, do you want to introduce our guest?
Yes. We've been talking for some time about it, inviting someone from Norris here, and Nicole Geis was kind enough to accept the invitation to show up this evening. So, on behalf of the town board, we welcome you and see what you got to say for Norris.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. So we had an opportunity to actually meet with Mr. Wildy, had came to Norris, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of talk about who Norris is. We've been around. We just celebrated 100 years last year, so it'll be 101 years that we've been around. I think Norris has gone through a variety of evolutions in terms of who the community might know us to be, and as a new community member, I can tell you that people have either not heard of us at all or have some different ideas about who we are in terms of being corrections or the types of children that we serve. So I wanted to have an opportunity to talk with all of you about who we are, what we offer at Norris, and as we were talking earlier about the school, that there really are two components to what exists at Norris. First, there's Norris Inc. On the Norris Inc. side, we have two programs that are currently up and running. One is a residential treatment program, which we serve, and it used to be boys 12 to 17. It is now boys 8 to 17. We just had our license amended. We have 3 units that are open. The children that get referred to us and come to us and live on the grounds of Norris are children that come from homes where they are not able to stay, typically because of a lot of trauma issues, abuse and neglect. And for some instances, there has been some involvement, maybe with a crime has been committed. We typically serve children with mental health issues, alcohol and drug issues. Maybe there may have been some sexuality sorts of things that have happened, both as a victim and perpetrator. And the goal is to provide them services that will help them in their healing journey. We use the word treatment a lot, but I always say treatment is always a journey, as any of us know, whether it's with addiction or making any type of long-term change. And that is a 24/7 program. I oversee that program. And so one of the first times that we were introduced to Gary was around, I know there were some community members that were concerned when they heard that the sheriff, we call the sheriff at times. And so there's protocol in place because the children are placed with us through a court order, and that we work with all 72 counties across the state of Wisconsin. We primarily have children that we serve through Racine County. There are some from Rockbridge, Kenosha, Milwaukee, of course, La Crosse, Fond du Lac, you name it. We've been kind of getting ourselves out there in terms of who we might serve. Every child is assessed in terms of being a fit for us. Do we think we can meet his needs in terms of what the plan is for him and what his goals are to kind of get better? And the ultimate goal is to help transition kids back home to their communities and to their families, and to do that safely. So right now on campus, we, for example, I think we have 19 or 20 boys that are living with us full time. All of those boys attend Norris School District. So Norris School District, as you know, is across the street, and it is the smallest public school district in the state of Wisconsin. It is a separate entity, but we work very, very closely together, and we like to consider ourselves as one. But in addition to our boys that attend that school, there are also day students that attend that school. There also would be an opportunity for any children that reside in the Norris School District parameters to attend that school. I have this year, my youngest son is actually just started there and is attending. He is a 10-year-old boy, about to be 11, and is a very non-traditional way of working with students, not your typical classrooms, really learning through the kids' learning styles, and a very non-traditional way of understanding the difference between boys and girls, for example, the difference in trauma, because what we know about kids that have gone through trauma, even when they were small babies and don't remember it, is that it has an impact on them psychologically, and from a science perspective, what we know is when kids go through trauma, and so trauma could be abuse, neglect, mental health, domestic violence, poverty, unsafe neighborhoods that they live in, where gunshots are real every day, they've seen someone get killed, whatever that might look like, it maps their brain differently than for kids that don't have those experiences. And that brings us to trying to help children along their healing journey. So that is one program that we have. We typically, it's short term. Kids are with us typically, I think, 6 to 9 months. Some are longer, some are shorter. It just depends on each individual child, and sometimes it depends on the placing agency's jurisdiction. So every child is under the jurisdiction of a court order, and there's judges and attorneys that make decisions for those children, and we work very closely with them through their treatment journey. In addition to that, we have now became licensed in the last year to become a therapeutic foster care program, and we are super excited because we are actually, by the end of this month, we will have our first foster home license that will take, I think, up to 3 boys ages, I want to say 12 to 17, I believe. So they are currently being licensed by that program. We are then looking to become a continuum of care of services, wanting to do more outreach and doing things when children go home, trying to support their families so that children don't come back. So again, it's just an opportunity. Norris in the past has served a different population. It was more of maybe some of the corrections kids that were coming from corrections, but again, I think there's a lot happening in our state. If you follow some of that, Act 185, which is the closing of Lincoln Hills, and things like that, that we are looking to see what opportunities there will be if those children aren't sent to corrections. They're going to need treatment services, and there's lots of things happening across the state for that. So we are just looking to continue to build our capacities to serve this population, to keep the vision of Neil Norris, which always was, as he started the farm, to help kids in need, to give them a place, to give them life skills, to educate them and to help them regulate themselves and hopefully become and be and maintain productive members of our community. We are on like 900 acres, I think most of you know. We do have specific contracts in place that do require, if a child, and it doesn't happen as frequently, I come from the world of Child Protective Services and also in residential, and I used to be part of a residential facility that was in the city. And when I came to Norris, my first reaction was, if treatment is going to exist for kids like this is the perfect place. We have the lake, the pond, the fishing, the kayaking. We give our children experiences that they might not ever have an opportunity of, and then they get to take those with them when they leave us at Norris. So we're looking to do more of the future. We're looking to collaborate. We also think that there's lots of opportunities. We're looking to outreach with the community. We're doing fundraisers with the Dairy Queen out of Mugwanago. We're working with the Mugwanago Food Pantry. We recently planted, I don't know the number, but a whole bunch of fruit trees that we'll be harvesting over the next couple of years. They're all over our land. They've been planted by us because we have the space to do it, and that we'll be giving back to the community that way for families in need who need those sorts of things. And we're looking for lots of other opportunities over the coming years. It's really about what the next 100 years of Norris is going to look like. And so there's a lot of new leadership that started, myself included. The executive director, she's coming up on her two-year mark since the former leader was there. So just a lot of different changes coming in. I think it used to be a place where we kind of kept everybody inside, and we're kind of changing that mentality, wanting to outreach more and make sure that people know we're there, who we serve. The kids are great. We have a huge role with Rumble on the River and Big Bend every year. We've done it 3 years now consecutively. We're with the Kiwanis Club, things like that. Just trying to give our kids some level of normalcy when they're living in out-of-home care and can't be safely in their homes. So those are the two big ones we have right now. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, no.
Go ahead.
No, I know I heard this presentation when I was over by you, and I was very impressed with what they're trying to do. The foster program is something new that you put in place now, and I would encourage anybody who has any interest in that to contact you at Norris Farm if they have that urge to be a foster parent.
Absolutely.
So, anybody have any questions?
Just one.
Yeah.
We had heard that Milwaukee, you mentioned a lot of problems with the police in the past. There was. We understood that Milwaukee, you had dropped Milwaukee as one of your groups you drew people from because of the problem with kids. I heard you say Milwaukee again. Is that back on the schedule?
So I think what you're referring to is that there was a contract that was with Milwaukee Public Schools.
Yeah.
And they were literally busing quite a few MPS kids that they couldn't keep in the schools out to Norris. It was quite a big contract. It was not successful. I would say that to you, that's probably less about the children and more about the structure that was put in place and the leadership that was in place in order to know how to manage that. So they dropped that contract, and that was specifically for those kids to go to school. So again, there's two different entities when you think of Norris. There's the school district, which is the public school district side, and then there's Norris Inc. And Norris Inc. is the residential treatment side, the therapeutic foster care side. That's the farm side of things. That's what Neil Norris started, and that's the side that we're on. But again, we're working very closely to have an opportunity to bring treatment and education together, because you can't have one without the other, really.
Okay, I would encourage you not to get back into the situation we had with Milwaukee residents in the past.
Okay.
So at this point, Nicole, no one's really bused on here. Is that correct then?
That is correct. The day students that attend Norris School District, and we can always invite the executive director of the school district, her name is Jonna Knoll, we could invite her to come. The day students that do come out, they're from all over different school districts.
And they go home at the end of the day?
They go home at the end of the day. They're picked up, whether by bus or somebody in their family picks them up. So I think last time I seen, there's 15 to 20 maybe kids that come, and they're just here from early in the morning just for a regular school day. They do their schooling with us, and then they go home to wherever that might be.
You still have in place in regard to troubled children, that you have occasional, people are concerned about walkaways and stuff like
Yes.
that, but you guys always follow up really closely with that then?
Yes. So part of our responsibilities is children, we have to supervise them all the time. The only time that we make a call we have an agreement with Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. There we have a great relationship. They actually do a lot of training out at Norris and using our houses for all their staff. Is when they get out on Highway L and they're physically off our grounds, which they have to go pretty far to get off of our grounds. But if they get up to Highway L, then we will call because it is a busy it's kind of a highway in there, and it does get busier.
Okay.
You mentioned there are 20 right now who stay there 24/7, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and then the foster care program is just new this year. How many are in there right now?
None. We are
None.
just finishing licensing our first home, and they actually don't live in this area. They were referred to us by a county that we work with, so they're actually off the grid a little bit. They were previous foster parents and chose to go with us as an organization. So we're still looking and doing lots of events to look within our community around us to recruit families to be foster parents.
Do you think that's going to be a very viable program for you? Are you pushing it really hard, that foster care program?
We are doing a lot of community education, a lot of event planning. I think we're very small right now, so it's just going to be a matter of time before that picks up.
Okay.
And in terms of right now, that is all being run by our Chief Program Officer, Teresa Cocker. So she's kind of a one-woman shop. So now we have a foster parent, so instead of doing events and things, she's very busy licensing that home and meeting all of the state requirements that require them to go through and all the training requirements that the parents have to meet before we could actually place kids in their home. But by October, we'll actually be able to work with counties who are looking to place kids in therapeutic foster homes and say, hey, we have this home and there's 3 beds available.
Thank you.
What is actually the capacity over there if you're able to go?
At Norris?
Yeah.
Our capacity, ultimately, the goal is there's 4 units. We've been very busy doing some renovations to some of the units. One unit in particular is being renovated from ceiling to floor, and it's our board of directors that is supporting that. We will see, I'll do quick math, 33 plus another 5, so about 38. I think we'll always be about 35 to 36, and we'll never be as large. In the past, I heard Norris at one point had upwards of 70, 80 kids on campus at any time. We may get there eventually. We do know that there's some things coming in terms of group home possibilities. But again, we're going to look to see what kind of opportunities come and if it makes sense for us and the population that we're serving. Less about the juvenile justice side particularly, and more about just kids with mental health and behavioral things that are related to their trauma and that have been removed from their homes for a variety of reasons.
How does it?
What's your staffing level at this time?
In terms,
Overall?
like how many people will work for us? That's a good question. I know we're probably 60s, maybe 60 people, and that includes administrative staff and the direct care staff. We've just gone through a restructure for a bit, so we have a director who's done nothing but residential work his entire career. We have supervisors for every unit, and then shift coordinators for every unit, and then they have direct care staff. Almost all of our staff are bachelor level staff who've gone to school for this work, who want to help kids and families. But I believe it's about 60-some total staff that we have at Norris. And then the school side of it, they have about, I think, 20.
Where's financing come from for that big staff?
So right now, our board of directors, our endowment from Neil Norris, we get paid through the kids that get placed in our care. We're doing a lot with the state of Wisconsin because oftentimes that amount of money does not support everything, especially when you think about renovations and the turnover that you have in terms of staff and kids, the training requirements, all the things that we're held to. So that is one of the things that we're working towards, is to become financially sustainable on our own over the next couple of years, and that's what we're working towards. What I can tell you from my experience right now is we're too small. There's a tipping point when the wages of what it costs to have staff, because our biggest wage line item are staff and the benefits, obviously. And there's a tipping point in terms of number of kids that you have to be able to serve in order for that to start to pan itself out differently. But we are fiscally in a great position to have an endowment and a board of directors that are supporting us through this.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I've got a couple questions. What, if residents have concerns,
Mm-hmm.
they usually call the, clerical and call one of us, and we have to call you. Do you have some type of an outreach program there that if people have concerns that they can contact you? Do you have a number?
Absolutely, I have my
Could you
business
give that
cards.
number out? So
Yeah, absolutely. My direct office number is 262-910-3802. I'm happy I'll leave some business cards with Karen as well.
Okay. And the second one is, if anyone in the community, or this goes online, and it's on the web, so
Mm-hmm.
if someone wanted to become a foster parent
Yes.
and learn that, would they also call that number, that 262-910?
That's my office, my direct office line, so I would encourage you if there's concerns about the residents or something along those lines, I would be the person. I'll leave these flyers. We actually have an actual line for inquiries on becoming a foster parent, and that number is 262-222-2000. And I have some flyers of those as well that I'll leave with Karen.
Okay. I'm just writing those numbers down because I will probably get some calls on it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you again for having me. Any other questions?
Can I just ask one quick
Yes.
one? Court order, how does that work? Does the judge determine they go to North specifically, or they have a number of these institutions they can send to? How does that work?
Sometimes judges do order specific places, but typically what will happen when children are removed from their home, there's a court order understanding what that statute is and then what type of placement. Residential care is the highest level of care for children. Beyond us, the only place a kid could go if they can't go home is a psychiatric hospital or corrections. We typically, when children can't be at their home with their parents or guardians, the system is supposed to be encouraging placement with relatives, foster home, treatment foster home, potentially a group home. Residential's at the top of that. So yes, there has to be a specific court order that said it's appropriate for a child to be placed in a residential facility, and there's residential facilities all over the state of Wisconsin. And then there's different types of residential facilities. There's residential facilities that work specifically with corrections kids. There's residential facilities that work more with, if you've heard the term CHIPS, a child in need of protection services, then there's juveniles that need protection services, and then there's delinquencies. We are serving, mostly we have CHIPS and JIPS kids at Norris. That makes sense.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. I can tell you're very passionate about your work.
I get that a lot.
Right. Item B,
Thanks,
October
Nicole.
24th, 2018, 6:30 p.m. Date for the public hearing for the town and village of the border agreement. Now, I'm going to read what Mr. Macy has written here. It says the public hearing has been scheduled within 60 days from the adoption of the last resolution. A Class 3 notice must be given before the public hearing. I would recommend, and this is Macy recommending this, that the proposed plan, legal description, and maps of be available for the public to review. And we'll be talking about that. And I recommend that the town board determine who will be making the presentation to the public at the hearing, and do we want to have a meeting before that public hearing to go over any questions with the attorney? So, Anybody?
We have to determine who we would like to have do the public presentation. I don't know, do we need a professional person to do that? The planner or the attorney or
Not the planner.
not really?
I would say the planner would be able to.
He hasn't been involved at all.
Do we need two? One from Quantico, I'm sure they're gonna wanna speak, and one from Vernon. I mean, somebody could just stand up and take questions. I think the presentation is basically the contract, and who's gonna read it?
That's not part of the presentation.
No?
No. It's the map, the legal description, the process. And typically, I know it was done by the attorneys when the village and the town did it.
The process is basically the increments that it's going through, right? The time increments, I mean, what would a discussion like that encompass, I guess, would be the question. I assumed it was gonna be a detailed description, but apparently not.
Detailed description of,
The contract,
no,
or the border agreement.
No.
Shouldn't call it contract, border agreement, I'm sorry.
no,
Just the details of
the public
who, where,
hearing-
and what the lines are, basically. Is that it then?
the public hearing is you're telling the public, you know, what the area encompasses, when
came
each
about.
property go into that, some of the history and
So it's gonna be pretty brief as far as detail.
you probably have a lot more questions than you will explanations.
I've already had several.
Would you be in that position to be doing the presentation on the how we came to this point in
No, I'll
time?
field the questions on that, yeah,
Yeah.
and why. I don't have any problem with that.
And I'm sure McWanago probably will have some representative from their board speak on it.
I guess we gotta see with Quantico if they have somebody presenting, because we don't need to have two people.
Typically, your attorneys are there to answer any legal questions that public would have.
Macy's gonna be there?
And Mark Bloom will be there from the village. Did you want Sean there? Malarkey?
I gotta talk to him.
Would you have any problem doing the initial presentation? I mean, it's just gonna be, here's what's happening, here's why.
Why we came to this conclusion?
Yeah.
Well, I just wondered who Quantico had presenting too, and it might be a duplicate.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If two people get up and give the same presentation, you're gonna bore people to death.
Yeah.
Well, we're the ones that initiated this thing, so McWanago is just on the receiving end, basically. You know?
Well, kind of.
Yeah, but they're top level, we're kind of at the bottom.
No.
Well, what do you guys wanna do?
I'd like to motion that you, drive the boat, so to say. If you're okay with it, I appreciate that.
Yep.
I think you're more informed with the transition that took place on all the meetings you've been to.
You and Bill were involved.
And you've had communication with their top dogs, so you know basically where they're coming from. We know what the contract says, but
Do you know when the legal description?
It'll be done on Friday. It's coming back from their engineers on Friday, and Bruce is going to take a look at that, and then as soon as he's looked at that, the legal description is really all engineering. He's going to review the map and then get it to the town board for town board to review. Because before, the public notice is all written, ready to go, but before we publicize that, as the chairman stated, we want to have all that information available on the website, available here, you know, to notice to the public what, you know, what's all encompassing in the board agreement.
That wouldn't be right. Somebody asked for information, wanted to
Can't
see what it
provide.
was, and we don't have it yet.
Yeah.
No.
We've got to have it all.
tomorrow, Friday?
Yes.
Because this is the second time we heard Friday, I think, and
He said when I had the meeting with him up at the county, and he had said sometime mid-September. And then I sent Bruce, he's their planner, an email today, knowing that the chairman had this on the agenda. He indicated that Rupert Milkie is doing the legal description and the map. And he said it will be in Friday, and as soon as he gets it, he'd forward it on to the town.
So we should have something in our hands by Monday to look at. Great.
So, any other? Things you wanna have for that meeting, or do for that meeting? Bill, anything?
No.
Okay. We'll move on to item C then. Okay, letter to the city of Mosquito on the Crowbar Road right-of-way, DPW director. And John isn't here today, but the letter is.
And it's just a draft, you guys can change it any way you want.
Everybody, well, just go back once everybody was okay with October 24th for the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you guys think of this as a draft letter?
We kind of drafted it so that there's a possibility to open the door to start some discussions with the city of Muskego. I'm sorry, it was out of place in your agenda.
I can't find it now, but I kind of remember reading that one part where it sounds like, I'm willing to work with them.
It's way down in the back of the paperwork. That's where I found it.
In the spirit of goodwill, neighbors, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, it's like, here's their property, and it makes it sound like we're willing to take care of it. I thought too much where,
Yeah, it almost sounded to me like we were asking them permission to have them do it. And I thought John said you should just tell them it's their property.
yeah, it's all,
I read it, I can't find it now.
Yeah, it's towards the back more.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'll just redraft it based on this is your property, you take care of it.
I don't want to do that. That's, my thoughts would be that this might open up a channel for, hey, maybe if they don't want to take care of it, or if they want us to take care of it, then they could turn that over to the center of the road, or however they do that. Or we could talk to them on it and have some type of agreement. And it's a nice stretch of area that we get an agreement on.
And it does specifically state, with having our residence located on Crowbar Drive with the right-of-way owned by the city of Muskego, creates a unique situation. I mean, it's pretty clear that that right-of-way is the city of Muskego in the town of Vernon.
Yeah.
I just don't like that word mutual maintenance. I read it as like we're willing to start doing the maintenance at our cost.
And we kind of drafted it just to start the dialogue. It doesn't conclude anything because a letter can't do that. That comes from a board or a council.
Yeah,
Instead of mutual maintenance, how about taking over the maintenance of the right of way, like you say, Tom?
regarding maintenance of the letter, take out mutual.
Yeah, just take out mutual, I think I'm fine with everything else.
Yep.
Answer the right of way and possible, how do you want ownership? No.
Can you just strike out mutual?
Yeah, strike out mutual for sure, but I'm trying to word that so that they understand what our goal is to try to, since it's our residents fronting that, why don't we get the ownership of the right of way to the center line?
Well, then all of a sudden, we're paying to resurface half that road.
Cities can't, well, I suppose they could, but you're not gonna have a city give property back to a town.
Nope.
That's like all the Village of Big Ben residents that come and ask to be annexed back to the town.
So what Tom was discussing as far as getting the right of way.
Oh, he's talking about a border agreement.
Yeah, see, what I'd like to do is say that in the spirit of goodwill, neighbors of town of Vernon would like to take this unique situation and opportunity to begin discussion with the city regarding maintenance of the right-of-way located on Crowbar Drive. An agreement such as this would help ensure our commitment to public safety for our residents, as well as forge a positive working relations with our neighbors in the city of Muskego. That leaves the door open for everything. We take out that mutual and just change those words a little bit. That last sentence, take
Opens the
out
door,
mutual maintenance and just change that A to an agreement such as this.
Well, you say we look forward to hearing from them when she comes back.
What are you talking about, an agreement?
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't we have it one time?
I'll be right down.
Didn't we have a border agreement with them at one time?
No, we had a resolution to start that they supported the
That's what it
town.
is, okay. So
But
it
it was
was
a-
supported in the past, so we just never followed through.
It's a long story.
Okay. It's an opportunity, hate to pass up opportunity.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and if we write it that way, you know, maybe we can open the door on something.
Yeah.
Is that our only border all the way down through Crowbar with Muskego?
New Berlin,
No, I mean, where we border Muskego, is that just down to Crowbar?
yep,
All the way down Crowbar?
mm-hmm,
So, yeah.
all the way to
Down
Town
Janesville
Line.
Road too.
Well, across Janesville Road, keep going down to Crowbar.
It goes all the way to Town Line Road
Yeah.
Yeah,
by Caldwell.
It's a long stretch.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, it is. Okay,
Taking out the word mutual, I'd buy into.
And
Need a
maintenance.
motion?
yeah.
You said mutual and maintenance, right?
Well,
Yeah, how Tom worded it sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
regarding mutual maintenance, that second line, that mutual goes away. Of the right-of-way located on Crowbar Drive.
It still reads fine without mutual.
And then, an agreement such as this, and take out that mutual maintenance and change that A to an.
Mm-hmm.
Agreement such as this would help ensure our commitment to public safety for our residents, yada, 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 yada.
How do you spell yada?
Y-A-D-A, yeah. Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Yeah, I like that.
So is there a motion?
It's
I'll
a-
make,
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh,
I'll
go
make a
ahead.
motion to approve the letter with the changes as stated by the chairman.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item D, credit card policy. Supervisor 3.
I read what Karen and I got together and put together. Seems okay to me if anybody's got questions on why we did what we did.
Do you
The
see
one
this one in
change I
front of
saw.
you here?
I'm sorry?
Do you see the, in front of you here? This new one?
Oh, that's
There's
one.
one in the pack, laying on your desk in front of you here, right underneath your.
This is the newest, right?
Okay, got it.
No, under your,
This is the one that was,
No, it came with,
Oh.
the stuff that was laying on the desk tonight.
yeah,
Got it here. Is there changes in there?
a little bit. We added, you've got, credit cards are issued to clerk's office, DPW department, and we put the fire department and recreation there, and it says the credit cards will be locked up in the treasurer's cabinet, and that's the way it used to be. They used to be here,
They were kept here.
they were kept here, and I think we should go back to that.
Well, I'll tell you what, when they closed the fire department, I picked up 16 credit cards.
Holy.
Well, the credit cards will be locked up in the treasurer's cabinet in the deputy clerk treasurer's office.
But that would mean that people have to run up from the fire department to get a credit card to go buy something.
That's not my problem.
Okay? You're gonna be.
Oh, yeah, they're not gonna like it, but,
That solves a lot of issues.
yeah.
So they have to turn in the cards. I buy that. But has Macy looked at this? Because I saw a change in here
Yeah.
where it
No.
sounded like the money would come from the department's
Yeah,
funds.
yeah, you said you-
Not the individual, you
Yeah.
can't do the individual. We couldn't have worked either. I just thought I'd throw it in here.
I did tell the attorney that that's, you know, was something that you questioned if we could do. So it's redrafted based on,
Conversation. No, that wording is fine. It comes out of the department budget and, you know, same thing. You check at the
So,
end of the year.
Karen, we were supposed to take out item 4.
I what?
Take out item 4.
Fire chief.
Where it said the fire
Safety.
chief and recreation shall be responsible for keeping of the bank cards.
well, I thought since they just saw the changes today that they were gonna look at it and you were gonna bring it, oh, wait.
Oh, we can bring it back.
I got
But
the new one.
item 4
Oh,
should be
yeah.
taken out of there.
Yep. Yeah, it says delete. Delete.
I had a question on page 2. Proper documentation to include letter A. I would assume based on prior discussions, we would include email, copies of the receipt or fax, or no? Because with Alex, I know, I brought that up at one time to him directly also, at least email the receipt while you're standing in the store.
Well, matter of fact, he told us that, yeah, he even got Karen over there to show her how to do it. And I said, it's not her job. You do it.
I'm wondering if we
Do
should.
we need a,
Well, this says original itemized paid receipt.
no,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be an original itemizer if it's allowed to use, cell phone to send you a receipt.
So
Are
I-
those legible when you get them?
Yeah, and the auditor said that that's fine, as
Yeah.
long,
Then we should probably incorporate
I mean,
that
the
word.
easiest is to take a picture with your cell phone instead of the picture, you know.
Yeah.
Text it to.
where do you want that, Bill?
Hey,
I think we should have a subheading under A, proper documentation to include A, original itemized paid receipt or overhead, yeah. Or email, or I would say even a fax copy.
email copy, fax, stuff.
Right. Or email or fax copy, yeah.
Does anybody fax anymore?
No, but we'll put email, scan, or fax.
Then there's really no excuse at all.
That pretty much says we want itemized receipt. And it says we're supposed to be on
And,
it.
you know, if they, the fire department complains about having the cards here, that they gotta go stop here and get them and this and that. Well, there's nothing saying we can't change that, but I would say it's,
Let's just put a
it
policy
used to
together.
be that way. That was the policy. It used to be that way. I don't know how it
Well,
ever
could
got
they
that way.
still, let's say they're out and about, they see something, they can still use their personal credit card and
Oh,
get
yeah.
reimbursed.
We can.
As long as they adhere to
And get
the proper
itemized.
documentation,
They won't get a tax exempt unless they have a tax
they
exempt.
gotta come and get a card. Carry a card with, I carry a card with me for our church.
You have to send, tax exempt credentials.
He's got a letter, doesn't he? He's got the letter with a number on it. I asked him about that. He said, oh yeah, I got that. I said, well, give it to your people when they go out to buy stuff, because then you won't get the tax.
Right.
Everybody that's got a card, I thought was given a letter explaining what the tax policy was, and gave the tax number on it, didn't it?
Well, All I know is when we did accounts payable about 4 months ago, there was a vendor that had no idea that the purchase is made.
Right,
mean-
but that's just somebody not telling them about it. If
Well,
that letter goes out to them, it's their responsibility to use it.
Well, they could probably still take a photocopy or in their email, open up their phone and show whoever they're purchasing.
It all comes down to they need to do a better job. They need to tell these people when they're buying something, it's tax exempt, they need to have that letter. If they don't have that letter, then don't make the purchase till you get the right information.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you do, take it out of your budget.
Cause I'm sick and tired of it.
No,
I'm tired of this going, I'm tired of hearing you guys all the time with this about it. It's just,
Yeah.
enough's enough. We gotta tighten it up and let them whine.
I'm tired of going through the APs and not finding receipts to validate it. You know?
Absolutely.
That's why I said I
It's been-
refuse to do this again.
It's been an exercise every
And you
month.
too.
Exactly, every month it's been an exercise. And we don't need exercise.
Now when it comes to this, you know.
Who are you talking to? Almost brown, huh?
Wrong time.
So, Mr. Chairman, is it okay if I take the changes that the board, you and the board have stated, and then send that out, and then if you find anything else?
Yeah, but we won't vote on it this time. Let her make the changes. We can send it out. Do you wanna have, the attorney look at our changes that we got?
You said basically we're going back to what we had, right?
That part of it, yeah.
And he already said we can't charge individuals, but we can definitely, by our own admission, we can charge them budget-wise.
Right.
So, is there anything in here anybody sees that would incur a charge from the attorney?
No.
No.
I don't either.
Okay. All right, so then we'll put it on,
Next agenda.
agenda again.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a chance to, and if there's something that gives you real heartburn about, just
I like them.
talk to the clerk and we'll get it figured out. Okay. Item E, policy and procedure for zoning violations.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Ford didn't get a chance to really look at what was drafted after, once again, what was
Yeah,
drafted
I know.
after the attorney.
I don't know.
I was looking at the old version, and it just wasn't running, it wasn't making a lot of sense, and Karen sent over the revision by the attorney. But I still had some questions about the board feelings. The attorney here in letter E in his comments, he says most communities, when they get the first notice, within 30 days, ask to meet with the board, put it on the agenda. So that could give us, if we just had a board meeting tonight and there's a notice delivered tomorrow, that gives them another 14 days from the 30. Now we're up to 45 days. That just doesn't make sense.
No. The 30 days is the 30 days. If they would come to the town board before that 30 days and explain to you what their situation if the board extends it, but the intent of this bill is the 30 days is the gospel. That 30 days, the only extension can be granted is by the board.
They'd have to come in.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about this last time. If there's no opposition, I'm going to go back through this if that's okay for our next meeting, but I think 15 days is more than enough. I mean, these people have their conditional uses approved, or they have certain exceptions approved, and then they go beyond that, and we're going and giving them another 30 days beyond that. It's getting way out of hand. So I think we should be shooting for 15 days for the first one, and then I've got a concern about the second occurrence. Number 6 is if the property becomes non-compliant in the same manner as cited previously within 1 year. I'm assuming he's referring to the same violation.
Right.
Well, now, they've already had one notice. Let's say they did correct it, hey, the day that violation occurs again, start the citation.
No, then you're reading it wrong. This means that if they get caught doing the same thing that they were cited for previously within that year's time frame, citations begin automatically. There's no 30 days. That's how Vince does it now.
Okay. Okay, no notice of any kind.
No, they're immediately cited.
Goes to the sheriff to issue daily forfeiture, and I said, like,
Okay.
Bob's written, you got a different one,
Well, you know, I'm confusing myself because I went back to the old original, and then today Karen sent over
or
the.
this one?
So I'm reading both of them here. Number 7, if the complaint cannot be corrected within the 50 days, within the 30-day
That's
period.
reading different.
I'm wondering if we shouldn't have if the complaint of the second violation. Well, you just answered it, Karen, so that could come on. This is. But it says if the complaint cannot be corrected within the 30-day period, the property owner resident must come to the next board meeting to discuss the non-compliance.
Scratched out and stuff like that, so it's an updated one.
Yeah, Bill, the
Is that a
intent.
new complaint?
No, that's if they're cited, and the letters are going to be drafted a little bit differently now to let them know that this is what our building inspector has found. You now have 30 days from this day to get it into compliance. If you cannot meet that compliance by this deadline, you must appear before the town board to ask for an extension, or
Continuous or?
it's for your review.
That almost resembles number 5. When you realize, hey, I'm not gonna make the 30 days, I better run to the board.
We scratched, number 5 is scratched.
Altogether?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bill, you have to look at this one
Okay.
here.
I gotta go over the whole thing.
Well, this one too, Madam Clerk. Make a clean copy and get it out, and we'll put it as if somebody's got problems with it or whatever. We can, we'll have some budget meetings. We've got a budget meeting in
Next
there.
week.
and If somebody wants to talk about it, we can have a town board meeting and a budget meeting. We can do matters of that.
Just a clean
As
copy.
long as we gotta notice it, that's all.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I had the original, and I started editing that thinking, this doesn't flow very well.
You got this one, like crossed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a clean copy in your packet and then the red line.
Yeah.
So you can work off of both, Bill, or board members.
So I
And
apologize for that, but I'll go back, but to me, this whole 30-day thing is way too much time. So I'll go back to the drawing board.
All right, so we'll have that on the, okay. All right. Item F, humane animal welfare contract. Office. What do you think about that, gentlemen? There is, the fees are $38.50 per year. That's what they are this year, correct, Madam?
Yes, there's no increase, yep.
There's no increase. Basically, this is the same contract.
Yeah, it is.
It's 3 years, why did he?
The last one was 3 years.
This one too, right?
Yeah.
18, 20, and 21, but Macy made a comment about, I didn't read that before I saw that comment, it says he recommends it's always 3 years, over there.
Well, that's his standard comment, he doesn't like to
Go longer.
in case some other board
So that's-
takes that. Well,
What were we paying just off the hand, Karen, for the previous year?
that has been, since I've been here since
That's
2013.
been the fee?
Yeah, there's never been an increase.
Oh.
The only difference this year, Mr. Chairman, is the fact that it's got a 3-year option or a 1-year option. I've never seen him do the 1-year option. But that's the only difference in the contract, but the price has remained the same since 2013. And they do a good job.
Is there any way to see how much is being used in the town in regard to,
How many animals get
what are we
turned
getting
in?
for our money? Are people utilizing it? Or do they
Oh,
understand
oh,
that?
when they come back, that they don't have a license? Yeah, it's,
Okay, I was just wondering, $3,800 a year to see if we're getting our money's worth.
but they do a good job about, we get people turning in dogs quite often. They come out and pick them up or picking them up at a residence, and
Okay.
that's something we can't do here.
No,
Mark the license.
I'll make a motion authorizing the chairman to sign the contract for the Haas
For the 1 year or 3 year, Mr.?
3 year.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's good, and for budget reasons, that's good to have that in there. Okay. American Tower and Landmark dividend request. This is that letter that I received with their thing here and there.
Short and sweet, we did this once before and said no.
Yeah.
Favor, no.
Well, I'd like to know what it costs, because if they own
yeah.
it, and we get the money for it, and they just walk away from it, we're stuck with taking it down. If they would give us, I don't know what it would cost to take that down, say
Do we not have a contract on it?
200,000 or something
Yeah.
like that, plus this, I might think about it.
Could pay for a new town hall.
We must have a contract, we're getting a monthly payment on it.
yeah, we
The
have a
contract
to it.
doesn't include
But
something
I'm
about
saying,
abandonment?
well, this is in their contract, yeah, but if we sell it to them, we gotta have a new agreement.
You're right.
And in that agreement, I'd like to have them pay for it, and pay for it up front, so we keep that money in escrow. If they ever walk away from it, well, that money's ours, but we just put it in a different account.
I always like to see cash coming in on a residual basis. You buy it once, it's gone, it's sunk money. It's like the state took the cigarette tax and boom, you never hear about it anymore. You know, you take it as a windfall profit and people put it in budgets and all of a sudden
The
can't count.
famous words, it just goes away.
Yeah, it just, I'd rather see residual income myself.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, 10 years.
that'll warm
Where
the
did it
cockles of some of their hearts out there.
10 years of rent at $5,000 a month is
Yeah.
kind of
Good money, yeah.
What's the life expectancy of the tower? Do you worry about it being, the life expectancy of the tower? Do you worry about it being obsolete or?
You know, everything I read says they're putting different antennas and stuff for the new
I'm
VHF.
saying just the base unit itself,
Yeah.
how often they say now it's deteriorating.
Well,
we gotta
there's new
replace it.
legislation coming through too. For different types of units, and they were talking about the Towns Association last year. They're talking about using, the telephone poles from pole to pole to pole. Those instead of the towers, cause they can reach more people with them. So, I don't know how long towers are gonna be, you know, I don't know. It's a crapshoot, you know.
It is, it's, throw the dart.
That's why
Yeah.
I put this in here. If, you know, we don't wanna deal with it now, we can, you know, we can tell them no, or we can tell them we're thinking about it, or write them a letter and.
Ooh, I look at that $607,000 though.
You got a lump
I look at it and say,
cash.
if they can spend that right now, what are they gaining on that? What are they making on it?
Yeah.
There's gotta be a benefit to them.
Oh, absolutely, I'm sure there is.
So if you
Which-
take that and
Well,
divide our
they're
income.
probably gonna make more. They're probably gonna raise it, to and offer it to their customers in a different way or whatever.
Yeah,
They own
generate
it.
income.
Because they own it now, you know, they've got a plan, that's for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've never been able to find anybody or crack anybody around and talk to these people, and I've tried.
Yeah.
That, what do you guys do with these towers? You know, I've different circles, different everything. I never can find anybody that's even remotely will say anything about it.
Which tower is this, Karen?
It's for the Fire Station 2
Oh,
on
yeah,
National
okay.
Avenue.
Behind Fire Station 2, yeah.
Bird in hand.
You know, the other thing that's interesting too is they're willing to do a short-term purchase, 15, 20, 25 years, and then after that time it goes back to us.
Oh,
Which was kind of interesting, I thought, but
That's probably when they figure it's gonna be falling apart, we got to take it out.
that's what I was saying, what's the life expectancy of it, you know,
Yeah.
or,
Is anybody gonna look at the rust situation? No, hang on to it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going something.
No.
I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, I could do a letter to administrators within the country to see if anybody,
Yeah.
what's happening outside of Wisconsin, to see if, if I could get some feedback there.
I'd like to wait on this for a little bit, at least go to the Towns Association
Yeah.
and talk to, if anybody knows anything.
yeah, it's only a couple of weeks away.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure we're not the only ones that have been approached on this here.
Yeah. You know, I know last year we told them, no, we didn't want to do it, and this and that. But,
Yeah.
you know, the more they keep hanging it out there, I think they went up a little bit.
Oh, they sure did. They're hot to trot for
If
this.
you hold it another year, maybe it'll go up again.
Yeah, undoubtedly, it'll go up some more.
You want them up and around the other piece of the
maybe we're not charging enough for rent, but they renegotiate the contract.
So, what do you just wanna?
Yeah, table it.
Table
Yeah.
it? Is there a motion to table, for further review?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, keep thinking about it, guys, what you wanna do with that, okay?
How's that, I'm trying to remember, does anybody remember how that compares to what we're making a month right now? It's a yearly rate, they pay us on a yearly basis.
Yeah, it goes up 5% each year.
Yeah.
So it's like 35,000 next year,
How much?
35,000.
All right, so we'd be at 60 a year. Over 60.
Yeah.
Double.
Yeah. Well, they're dangling the carrot.
For 10 years. I'm 70, that's lifetime for me. That might be
Item A is Vernon's response to Waukesha County on site plan of operation in Shoreland. The chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to state to you that per your request when you spoke with the attorney, I did send an email out to the other towns within Waukesha County to see what their response is, and most boards are talking about it either next week or early in the following week. And as those responses come in, I'd like to share with the board what other communities are stating.
Yeah, what I talked to the attorney about was, I'll read it to you here. We stated it as best as we could, and I'll just go into it. But it says that this is a policy decision. It is my understanding that the town of Genesee and the town of Waukesha are also reviewing this matter. The towns seem to be concerned about the loss of local control to the staff and the potentiality that the local taxpayers might have to
I think he meant assume.
portions of the costs incurred, especially if the matter gets complicated, since the town will be no longer getting a separate application fee, possibly only a payment from the county to cover some of the town planner's costs. and no opportunity to charge back for professional fees. It might behoove the town board to see what other towns are thinking and doing in this regard as well, to reach out to our county supervisors. You know, it's like, you know, we negotiated with them to get out, and now
They've tried to
they're
sneak back in
trying,
again,
Yeah,
Yeah,
through the back door.
I really kind of find that sanctimonious, like, you know?
So they're just, they want control, that's all it was, they don't want.
I would have wrote the letter saying we appreciate the offer and realize your time is valuable. We'd be willing to do all the shoreline zoning within the town for them.
Yeah, you got so much on your plate, maybe we could take on some of that responsibility.
Too bad
Well, this one here goes right into the one that Bill asks about, and we'll talk about that, but M&W Marine is the prime example. You ask them to do that study.
boom.
Now, and if they say, okay, it is navigable, poof, 1,000 feet from around, it becomes, we don't have any jurisdiction.
Yep,
So be careful what you ask for.
yeah, true.
So, what do you wanna do? You wanna wait and see what the other communities are doing?
That's
What we
know
talked
right now.
about is that, if, you know, the town of Waukesha and the town of Genesee feel the same way we do, then maybe we'd have more clout being able to talk to the county supervisors and get our county supervisors involved with that. And talk to them about it and see if we can't put a little pressure on somebody over on that.
Sounds real one-sided when you read it.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to us whatsoever,
Nope.
so why would we
None.
want to do that?
I
With
know.
what we expended to get out.
Yeah, and,
It's
you know, we
ridiculous.
have no way to recoup any money.
No. I mean, you see what the planner fees and all that are.
Yeah.
That's not something like
Well, I don't wanna pay for that. As a
Who's gonna get it,
taxpayer,
you know?
I don't wanna pay for that.
No.
What somebody else is doing something on that, you know, just because of what they wanna do? No.
I just
Let
hope
them
they all
pay
see
for the
it.
whole thing.
I hope they see it the same like we do, and we get some support from the other groups, because I'm not in favor of this one at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll see them up at the county, up at the town association.
Do you want to table this till the next meeting, or?
Yeah, we can. But I would think that if they do that together, we may get a better response
Leverage.
than just the single town doing it, you know? Always some. So is there a motion to table?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table this till the next meeting.
Do you want to wait till the following meeting?
We'll wait
Because
till-
the
Can you
Towns
pick a date,
Association, the Towns Association is on the 13th, so you would table it to the 16th,
No.
The sixth-
We are next.
18th, October 18th.
You picked it, but after the Towns Association.
Okay.
Being you're the secretary, you get that right away.
You made the motion.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I didn't hear a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Item I, request the DNR for navigability study for an area located on Hannonberry, south of 164, Supervisor 4, that's you, Bill.
I counted, I believe I'm accurate, that there are 7 properties within a relatively close radius of this development, especially since they're shooting to expand it, that are going to be affected by downstream waterway, floodplain, whatever you want to call it. Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you the one who said a few months back that the fire department at one time was bailing out basements along Hannonberry years ago already?
That's a long time ago, yeah.
So there already were high groundwater.
Oh, there's high groundwater down there, there's no doubt about that.
So now we've got foundations 4 to 5 feet out of the ground and greater, and now we're gonna add 25 to 30 more homes in the same area.
Impervious surfaces?
I mean,
Impervious surface?
oh,
Where's all that water going?
well, it's trying to get through the Peterson property under 164. And even if you could triple the amount going under the highway, where does it go? It's not going to get to the river for weeks because it dissipates all over these other properties.
Yeah.
So Petersons have flooded out in the past. Their son Jay Peterson's on Hennenberry. He's had issues. It's another Vernon resident, a ranch right next to Peterson. And then there's another ranch just north of getting my Petersons. There's parents Peterson. Karen, what's the parents? Joe and Betty Peterson are on 164.
Right.
Mhm.
It's a ranch north of them. Their son is northwest of them, right on Henneberry. Then there's another ranch next to him, right on Henneberry. And then there are 4 properties across 164. They will all be affected by runoff. So, as long as in his presentation, there's no charge for them to do a shoreline study, not that we can necessarily do anything about this right now, but I think we should have something on record showing the study was done and what the study predicts.
Well, like I said, once the study's done and they determine it, we lose it. We lose jurisdiction over it. It becomes part of the county or the state. Just like we did with M&W Marine,
Yeah.
within 1,000 feet of that.
Look how far they went from M&W Marine back the other way. I mean, you don't know where they're gonna go from this one.
Is this blue dot supposed to be a pond on there?
No, that's it's like this property.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was water or not, yeah.
Do they have plans already, Bill? Have you ever seen anything?
Joe Peterson was at a meeting, talked to Stiza himself, who's a developer. Steve Stiza, the son of Bryce, is the one developing that complex in there. And he supposedly said right out, he's shooting for 25 to 30 additional homes in there.
So let's think that through out loud here. So we do that. Okay. Do we know for sure that there's where are they planning to dump that water?
See, nobody knows, and there's been no study done. And the village planner has not mandated a study.
So what do we ask the DNR to study if there's no plan and nothing to study? The land that's there now?
Yeah, based upon the lots that are created.
But you said that there's no...
Are the divisions made or?
There's no map
For the lots?
or lots.
No, but that's his next phase. He's going to actually cut the lots. He already has approval to downsize it.
How's he get the septic if it's all high water?
Mounds,
Pound system, yeah.
A+3.
If he once gets approval for the development, where do you go then? You got,
Yeah, but they can do whatever they want anyways.
well, they can. All I'm saying is for us to have a reference point and say, you know, my idea was if that study would show what I believe it will, to go to the village in writing and say, hey, we feel you're creating liability issues for our residents.
So then we'd have to sue them.
Well, that's what would have to happen if it came to that.
Do the residents understand that if we ask for that study, that we lose jurisdiction, that they lose jurisdiction if that's considered navigable? Do they understand that?
Probably not, as far as the navigability goes.
But, I mean,
Well, what-
jurisdiction is the part that,
What
That bothers me.
jurisdiction do we have now, even if it's not classified shoreline at this point, everything runs out, what jurisdiction do we have? Village thumbs their nose at us and goes on.
you know,
And we don't even have a written record that any research was done on it, that's the concern.
7 homes? Our properties? 7, you
I
said?
count 7 that are, yeah. Yeah, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3 on Henneberry, 2 on 164, and 4 west of 164, or more, because if you're going downstream.
well, has this been approved by the village? This
He doesn't,
subdivision?
not to my knowledge, just as a proposal. But what I'm saying is, once it is approved, you do what?
Boy, you think
Well, they gotta dump their water
stop it?
somewhere.
I know.
You think the study would block them from being able to develop on that land?
Well, my thinking is it would give us, from the town standpoint, at least documentation to go to the village and say, here's what's gonna happen to residents in our township if you approve this. I mean, none of us can go over there and measure the runoff right now, but you look at the elevations of the homes they put in there, and we know where the water runoff's going now. It's going through the cul-de-sac, off the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
Let
but
me ask you a
everything's all hearsay, we got nothing to show anybody that what's going on. That's what,
If you're
There's
concerned with the
no-
letter though, we could send that letter right now. We don't need to get the DNR involved in this and say it's a waterway. We could say, we have concerns that if that's developed due to past flooding on our properties, this would create another instance where we're gonna have liabilities with our, we don't have to go into the DNR. I hate to ask the DNR for anything. They tend to take a hand, take the whole body. But don't you think that letter would be just
Well-
as valuable?
The response coming back, I think most of us know our neighbors pretty well, the response coming back is, well, how do you know that? Prove it.
It's documented, that'd be the proof. Later on, we keep those letters and we go to sue them, it's proof. I mean, if it floods their property, it's gonna flood their property. And that's when the liability occurs. If it doesn't flood the property, there's really no issue with him. But if it does flood the property and we have the letter, void of the DNR's involved in, at least we put them on notice that we have concerns that by building in that area, the volumes they're looking at, it's gonna create a liability for our people as far as flooding goes.
So you're saying.
And we have past experience. Gary says 20 years ago, 30 years ago or so, there was flooding in that area, so it could occur again.
So you're saying just write them a letter, predicting what's
Send to
going
the
to
village.
happen.
Yeah, based on conversations that we've heard, that's up for sale for multiple, you know, something along that line.
We have concerns about the water runoff and the proposed
Yeah,
building. You know, that's not a bad.
at least
idea.
puts them on notice.
well, I'd
Yeah.
like to go a little step farther, asking for the engineering details, where all the water's gonna go.
Yeah.
That's a good route as well.
Asking
Yeah.
where
Where
they
they
expect that water.
With the size of the development, the engineer has to have some kind of plan for that water.
Water
Oh,
runoff.
yeah,
It's automatic in a big,
I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of money or time on it, and we don't,
That's it.
I feel yeah, we could get the DNR involved with Bill, but, you know, be careful what you ask for, because that M&W, that's still.
I think Ed's got.
Just
the
for
right
the
idea.
simple fact that, you know, the county said, I think the county knew that all along. That's why the county said, well, we should get that delineated, you know, but, get it checked out, see if that,
Well, DNR could go over there after the fact
Sure.
and then say, okay, it's now all shoreline, and we're in the same position.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
But why encourage it?
Too late.
The
Yeah,
village.
It'd be too
Say,
late.
what's your intentions?
I think the letter now,
I wanna know how much water is gonna be coming out of there,
Well, that's-
one way or the
I
other.
think you hit it on the head. We're concerned about the flow as those houses get built for
How it's
our
gonna
residents.
How it's gonna impact Vernon residents.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to know that development, and we need like the engineering study on the water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
When
be sure there's no hazards are.
if they say we're not gonna do an engineering study, then we have it on record that, you know, they didn't take it seriously about the water runoff.
Well, and that's fine if their planner, engineer, don't forget, the same engineer probably did Edgewood Avenue with his $25 transit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can get down on my knees after a rainfall, and look down the road, I don't need a transit.
Don't put your head too close, you get wet.
Is
With
that
all
the kind of
the low
report we're
spots.
waiting for?
Aren't you guys glad you
Well, I-
stick $100,000 into that road?
I think it's right though, there'll be a record.
Oh, yeah.
A paper trail of,
Yeah.
if something
Well,
goes haywire.
Is there a development? Have you seen a development on that property?
Well, we could say we've heard that
Rumors.
there's a possibility that there's gonna be a large development in an area that could possibly impact the town of Vernon.
You want me to make a Hope Records request?
All I know is Petersons were at a meeting and he brought that up to me, he said this is what he brought up as his next plan.
Well, and you know the county has authority to review plats in a village or a city.
Do they?
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah.
I thought town and village, so many villages just
Oh,
did
no,
what they wanted to
no.
do.
Well, I'd like to know how much water is gonna get dumped out of there, where they intend
Where's
to
it gonna
dump it.
Particularly in
To protect our
That
people.
area
Then I
is-
think we can act more prudent than, I don't, you know.
Yep.
I say so.
And I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm not saying we won't, but I'd like more information on it.
Well, if we can create a paper trail of
Yeah.
some kind,
Yeah.
because we all know.
Well, we're
the
starting right
rule,
here, we're talking
ignorance is
about it.
bliss.
We're starting right here, Bill, we're talking about it, this is on record, it's on the agenda,
Well,
we're talking about it. We're
Karen.
worried about the water hurting our people,
Yeah.
and not,
What are you gonna do about it?
yeah, that's,
Basically,
So can I make a motion? We have Karen send a letter to
or have a
Big Ben?
producer, you know.
I would like to further that motion would have Karen do a little research with the county.
Yeah, because I was pulling some information that you should see about some FEMA mapping and some other issues, the soils maps.
So you wanna look at the county first and then,
I'd like to get you some more
Just
information.
get her to do some research and information, she'll be able to dig in there,
Okay.
or her staff.
well, if we put it out to staff, it may be built by the time we.
No, I'm talking about her staff.
Oh.
In there, where the real work is done.
I said, yeah. And worker bees, huh? Haven't seen a bee all since the worker bee. Can I ask that it goes on the agenda and stays here till this gets,
Is that part of your motion too, Supervisor Moline?
so we don't lose it? Okay?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Well, Bill won't let it get lost.
Nope.
I'm sorry?
He said, you
You
won't.
won't let it get lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it in the back of my mind.
It's easier with old memories, you know?
Okay.
Forgot to take my socks out of the car for a week.
Okay, we got response
All right.
letter to Muskego Crowbar, that was on there twice, okay. Bartender's license.
Mr. Chairman, there was no second to that motion or a
Oh,
vote.
I thought,
I know Eddie made the motion.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We want-
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Bartender's license for Maureen A. Clancy.
Mr. Chairman and town board members, everything is in order for this license. All fees have been paid. You can see compliance is done in relationship to certification. my recommendation would be that the town board approve this bartender's license.
I'll make a motion to approve the bartender license for Maureen Clancy.
Second.
They must have a large turnover, or they're paying awful good at getting heaven, because they sure get an awful lot of applications for bartender's licenses there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Budget workshop, anybody got anything that they want to input or talk about, or?
What are we gonna be, you're just gonna go back through the budget, start with the budget again?
Yeah,
Tuesday?
John had asked me, he wanted a closed session tonight to talk to the town board on his contract. And I said, well, then you gotta come in at night and this and that. We can have a closed session at the budget meeting. We'll just put it as on the agenda that way to talk to him and set up 20 minutes or something. And talk to him and see what he wants, or
Yeah.
what he wants to talk about. So,
Karen passed a sheet out that we asked for all the payroll.
Oh, I got more for you.
Huh?
Oh, I got more for you.
Do you?
Oh, do I got, I'll give it to you after the meeting. I got a lot of stuff for you.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
because I did the addition stuff on this to carry it forward to see what the increases were. I didn't have anything for you or John, well, I know where you are. But fire department, John, those are missing numbers.
Where's that sheet?
And,
This
yeah.
was on the, she sent an email out.
And Tom Tomasek
Oh, you
did
turned
something
it off.
else on the fire
Your
department.
computer.
So after the meeting's done, I have more information to give you. And insurance.
What way to go at it?
We have something?
Insurance, you got some information finally back from the state?
Paperwork.
Good.
so the next budget meeting is 1 p.m. on the 25th, that would be Tuesday.
Yep.
Alright.
Mr. Chairman, do you want the closed session before or after budget? Or-
Let's just do it, at 1 to 1:15, we'll give them 15 minutes in there for the closed session,
Okay.
right at the beginning.
That long.
Then it shouldn't be that long, whatever. We had talked about it before and figured what we wanted to give him or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he wants to make sure that we're not forgetting him, which we had, but that's fine. If he wants to come in, and talk about that,
Might
that's
be lower
fine.
than what we were talking about.
That's fine. But,
Did you
Then
buy a
he has-
Volkswagen yet?
pardon?
Did you buy a Volkswagen yet?
No.
Just a second.
God.
Volkswagen with a V-plow.
Yeah.
Not when I'm taking a drink it.
There's a big article on vehicle prices going crazy because of the imports
Oh.
from China. Did you read all that?
Steel prices.
Yeah.
I was looking at, well, that's another thing. Okay, correspondence. Correspondence and announcements, I don't have any.
I don't have any either.
Gary?
No, just a reminder that there's a public health and safety meeting Tuesday night here at the town hall at 6:30. That's all I have.
Ed?
All I have, I got a call from a lady real concerned about, I don't know when she heard, but woke up to the fact we're doing the border agreement. She lives on Hillview and wanted to make real sure she wasn't going into it. I said, you should attend the meeting and find out all the details on it. So I told her what time the meeting was, where it is, and asked her to attend it. So that's about it.
Bill? And then Bert?
The DPW director obviously isn't here, but did ask that we remind the residents that brush pickup will begin east of Center. Everything has to be out by October 1st, so have it out on the 30th. And west of Center will begin October 8th, so all the brush west of Center should be out on Sunday, October 7th.
Oh.
And then my report is, I just wanted to let everybody know the absentee ballots are here. So anybody that wants to vote in the clerk's office, we're open from 8 to 3:30. Or if someone can't make that time, I'd be happy to meet with them, make an appointment. They can vote at any time. If you want to send an email and we have your driver's license on file, we can mail you an absentee ballot. Also, just want to remind the board members the deadline for the next newsletter is October 4th. And just wanted to ask the board members, do you want any type of notification after we get the information to the residents within that border agreement? Do you want the letter and the notice mailed to those people also?
Oh,
All of them? Or just the
Yeah.
ones that are affected the first, all of them?
I would like to see a notice go to the individuals that are gonna be affected by this personally. I don't know if you wanna put that on the agenda, but, for discussion, but, it's.
It'll be a
gonna
nice
it's gonna
gesture.
Yeah, it's gonna prevent feedback later on
That we
I didn't
did
know
it.
anything about this, what are you guys doing to me?
You can put it on the agenda October 2nd and talk about it, see what you guys,
Yeah,
should we
why
do
don't you
that?
do that? That's a good suggestion, Karen.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, finance, accounts payable for September 20th.
Board members, Supervisor Ed Moline called in regards to the copy invoice that I apologize, I never saw that they were charging us tax. So our copy machines, and not only are they reimbursing us for the tax, I also pulled the 3 other invoices that we paid, and we will be getting a refund on the tax that we paid for previously. Thank you, Supervisor Moline. And so we did do a revised AP list based on that change in the lime green on the APs. So you can see that the one check was voided and reissued.
I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna just try and make, touch base with Amomark, the one that does the carpeting and the rugs and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I have some questions about charges on their bill, but I figured I'd just give them a call and ask for clarification to find out, we pay a service charge for them to come out here that's almost half the cost of them doing the work.
Mhm.
So I just wanna find out, is that,
It's in the contract.
it's in the contract?
Yeah, and John called because he questioned some of the increases on the
Right.
mats, and that's all part of the increase in their contract.
Oh, okay, well then that saves me a phone call, if it's in the contract, saves me calling them. Thanks, Karen.
No
I
problem.
noticed, we have, I was trying to balance it out, we have 5 refunds for new construction,
Yeah.
Yes, occupancy bonds?
and are we collecting, have we collected extra fees for the, what's it called?
Park impact fee?
Yeah.
Yes, whenever it has to be a new development. So these people, if the impact fee is not paid, which it hasn't, anytime you pull a permit for a new home, that's when the impact fee is paid. And yes, that has been
So
paid.
these would have been paid already because we just refunded it for the occupancy, right?
Yeah, this is only, we do retain the $25 fee in regards to,
Right.
but these are just the occupancy bonds that are due to those residents.
And now that fee keeps building that kitty we got going on. Is that something, we're trying to get rid of that park fee right now
Mm-hmm.
by building everything, but if it continues, can we take whatever monies, this 5 is a lot for this year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's already, those impact fees have been paid way before now.
So that's included in what we did?
Oh, yes,
John? So
yes.
we're not looking to add?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep.
We got still building funds we got to get rid of.
Right. That's a good question, Supervisor Moline.
Thank you. Karen, what do we have for new total on this thing now?
It's $53,038.43.
53,038.
43.
Well, considering I have no more questions, Bill?
The only thing I was questioning, Karen, you and I talked earlier today, this Capital One thing, I understand. Yeah, and I don't really follow it yet. I know we paid them, they said we didn't pay them, we paid them again, they
No,
deposited.
they told me
lost the
that,
check.
they told me
Yeah.
that the check was lost. They got
Yeah.
that report from the post office.
They must have.
So how do we,
what I wanted to do is show you for this board meeting all the receipts all the documentation that applies. Now, what I'd like to do after this is talk to them, and I want to do a detailed spreadsheet on every item, which was purchased, what was credit, because I'm going to have to do some adjusting journal entries, but I don't want to do that until you see the full detail in regards to that payment, the other payment, this payment. I want you to see a better spreadsheet. But for this board meeting to pay the bills, I wanted you to see not only the invoices that relate to this charge, but the previous charge. But you will see some more detailed information in regards to that.
So basically, you've got to do their bookkeeping work for them.
Well, I just want to check. I don't trust them. I just want to make sure that we're paying what we need to pay.
They said they lost the check, and you cut a new check for them, and then they deposited the old check.
Right. They didn't say they said they got a report from the post office that it was damaged and destroyed.
Yeah, well, it ended up in their accounting department somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't, they're liars besides
Other
me.
questions?
No, go for it.
Then I'm gonna make a motion to approve the APs in the amount of $53,038.43.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
He sounds so damn confident, I'll second it.
Manual checks?
There were 2 manual checks.
I'll also make a motion to approve the manual check in the amount of $3,766.66.
I know I put that at the end of your APs.
Yeah, but was that included in the APs then?
No, those were
This was a separate.
Yeah,
right?
those were manual checks.
Okay.
But I just want, the documentation was in the back of your APs.
Right.
For the 3,700,
56.66.
yes,
So you did need a separate motion, correct?
yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. ACH transactions. See, we're starting to get a few on there again.
This one has to be approved by motion, though. The 99,726.98.
I got a different number.
So,
For the APs? Oh, I'm reading her minutes, I'm sorry. Let me go back. I know it's right.
I got
95.
Yeah, 95,447.14.
I'm sorry.
You want my copy?
No, just give me the number. I know my number is right.
95,447.14.
And you saw how the bank statements were included so you could verify the,
Right.
okay.
Payroll. ACH.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the ACH and $95,447.14.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. August accounts receivable aging.
Well, that'll just go back again. We had it down to next to nothing, huh?
Yeah, but we just bill away. Bill.
We've got 4 of them over 90. It's the time to send a letter telling them that if the payment's not made, we're going to be putting on their taxes this year.
We usually do that in October, so that's coming up.
So, okay, I didn't
Yep.
want to jump the gun, just didn't.
No, and we've already done the final, so the next letter will be if they're a Town of Vernon resident, or if they apply for any other request.
Is this That refuge and recycling fee, yeah. Was that the guy that's having all the trouble getting his?
No, these are people that move in after we do the taxes,
Oh.
and it's not on their tax bill, but they're requiring service, so that we send them we order the service for them, and then they pay for the service, the prorated service for refuse and recycling.
So they've already got a bill for this and haven't paid anything for 90 days.
That's correct.
Okey-dokey. Yeah. Rev Motorsport, I can hardly read that. You got a better copy? Who's Rev Motorsport?
He came to the board and asked the board if he's next to a Midway Market,
Oh, okay.
and he was going to
the guy-
buy the other
Yeah.
place, so I'll have to write Charlie a letter to say.
Yeah, he came here and,
He asked if he could apply those fees to, he wanted to purchase another property in Vernon that Phil Callan purchased, so.
okay. We've been over for Rito and he's still,
Don't need any action on that.
No, this is just for your review. But just so the board knows, the next letter that goes out, it warns residents that if
About
it's not
tax
paid by, it's going on their tax bill.
All right. Financial statements, anybody got any problems with that? I see that the state aid, we were, year to date, we've got 133,000, and we had budget 177, so
They make that in two payments. So the second payment will be coming.
that 44,000 should be coming in.
Yeah.
And the state share of revenue,
Same thing.
there's about $100,000 there that they should be getting yet. On revenue.
Can we use these figures for budgeting?
I just got this, the 2019 figures from the state, so you'll get that in,
Okay.
we'll have the right numbers for the budget.
I think that's 136%.
we need them.
Yeah, you're right.
For perusal. Anybody got any comments? No comments, all right. If you do, bring them to the
Yeah.
budget meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, approval of minutes. September 4th, 2018.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from September 4th.
Second.
No corrections, all right.
Didn't find it.
It's the next ones that need the,
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Well, yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Gotta make them quick. for
September
the
6th.
finals.
September 6th, 2018.
board members, Supervisor Bill Craig had called in regards to some changes to those minutes. Some of them were pretty minor, but I did correct the stripping to striping. And it's in the DPW report that the county's going to be doing stripping.
Didn't care, it was a good in class.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from Thursday, September 6th, 2018.
Karen, on that, just going back to page 4, Did you put John Henniger's name?
Yes,
Okay.
all the changes that you asked
Okay.
for, Bill, were put in there. Besides the stripping.
Terry, was that a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. September 13th, Town Board Finance Budget Workshop.
Move we approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting date will be October 4th, 6 p.m. Public comments? Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Record show there are no public comments. Adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.